All right, so we are at the end of the episode. Before I go, let's get to the final question of this podcast. Quentin Tarantino said some stuff again, and basically he's kind of agreeing with Martin Scorsese about comic book movies. And the main gist of what Tarantino said is basically the MCU movies, the comic book movies, don't make movie stars. The stars of the movies are the characters. People, when they watch the movie, they don't want to see Chris Evans. They want to see Captain America. They don't want to see Thor. They don't want to see Chris Hemsworth. They want to see Thor. And they don't follow those actors to wherever they go. They just want to see them as that, and that's it. Not really a controversial statement, because that's been true for a long time now. You can go by, let's do the Fast and the Furious franchise, okay? Yes, Vin Diesel is a movie star to a certain extent, but now the only thing that makes him money is Fast and Furious. Even when he was doing Pitch Black and the Riddick movies, those weren't making money. Those were really like pet projects for him, that he had to put money into himself in order to actually make those movies. Again, with other movies that he's done, like those movies don't make that much money, but the Fast and the Furious does, and if he's in the Fast and the Furious, those make money. Another example, I guess, would be Batman. I mean, how many different Batmans have we had? Those make bank. What, do the other actors make bank? Not really. Not really. I mean, even Christian Bale. Christian Bale, who's a fantastic actor, who's an amazing actor, he gets known for being Batman. No one's talking about how great he was in American Hustle. No. It's like, oh, it's Batman. And then they realize he's British, and like, oh my God, Batman's British. And then that's it. That's been correct for a long time. But that's been doubly correct with the MCU. Why am I mentioning this? Well, Simu Liu. Oh, Lord. Simu Liu decided to spout his opinion on the matter. And basically said that, you know, the MCU does great things for people of his persuasion, of his color, and that the generation that Scorsese and Tarantino embody is quote-unquote white as hell and doesn't do anything for people of color. First off, no, that's absolutely incorrect. That's absolutely incorrect. And a lot of people on Twitter have pretty much bashed him for this. Let's start with Tarantino, okay? Let's start with Tarantino. Tarantino's best film, in my opinion, is Jackie Brown, which had Pam Grier in it, who was languishing in her career, was not getting roles. But he made a love letter to blaxploitation films, because he loved blaxploitation films. And he had Pam Grier and Samuel L. Jackson in his movies, who did great performances in those movies. Okay? There's that. You have Django Unchained, Jamie Foxx. Let's get into other people of color. Lucy Liu, Kill Bill, another stand-up performance in one of his films. Okay? Let's talk women. Uma Thurman. Uma Thurman's been a muse of his in a couple of films until the thing that happened in Kill Bill. Tarantino is not a person who gives a shit what color you are. He wants to, if he has a good idea, he will do the good idea and he'll get the best actor for it. So Tarantino, and then on top of that, let's also talk about outside of what Tarantino does. Tarantino constantly references and also champions films outside of the U.S. He's always done this. I didn't know about Wong Kar-wai and Chungking Express until Tarantino talked about it. Okay? I wouldn't have given it a chance if I didn't hear Tarantino sing the praises of Chungking Express. Okay? That's not somebody who, you know, doesn't care about people of color. He just likes good movies, and that's what it is. Same thing with, let's go Scorsese, okay? Scorsese did Kundun, a movie that had absolutely no white people in it. The thing that I think people don't give Scorsese credit enough with is the World Cinema Project. And what he does is he watches films from different countries, some of them unknown, some of them that you don't know that are making films, and he brings them to light and releases them, some of them through Criterion, and in other areas. I would have never heard of Tuki Buki if it wasn't for Scorsese. So what is this? And the thing that really pissed me off about this as well is that Simu Liu essentially said that these directors are gatekeepers who don't let people of color flourish. Bro, let me tell you something. If anyone's the gatekeepers, it's the studios. It's the studio heads. And let me also say this. If Disney was not courting the Chinese market, or wasn't courting the East, they would have never made a Shang-Chi movie. Barely anybody knew who the hell Shang-Chi was. I read comics for a good amount of my life. I had no idea who Shang-Chi was. When they announced Shang-Chi, I was like, are they creating a new character? And someone had to point, no, this guy has been here for X amount of long time, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, wow, I never knew. Like, oh my God. They wouldn't have made Shang-Chi if they didn't want to court the East. And if you piss them off long enough, or if you become a burden to them at any certain point, they'll shit can you. They don't care. They're gonna say, oh, this guy's getting annoying. What should we do? Maybe we should get another actor. Yeah, okay, let's get Henry Golding. That's what they'll do. That's definitely what they'll do. So, yeah, okay, sing the praises of Disney, who found that this is popular and they're going to give it a shot because they thought it would make them money. But the moment that you're not useful to them, you're done. It's not going to be Tarantino and Scorsese who's going to say you're done. It's going to be the studio heads. It's going to be the people who choose who the stars that they want. It's those people. And I'm going to tell you something. There's going to be a period of time that maybe, let's say you are here for 10 years. Okay? There's going to be a point in time where they're going to try something different, where Shang-Chi is just not going to be viable. And they're not going to have Shang-Chi in any movies. You're going to want those directors to think of you highly, and in some regard, to get them into those movies. You'll want to be a character actor or a good actor where people say, yeah, I can see Simu Liu doing this movie. I can definitely see that. If you're going to piss those people off, especially people who are very well respected and are respected by not only film lovers, but filmmakers, and filmmakers of color on top of that, you're going to see that you're going to have a big problem when it comes to your career going on the downside. I mean, there's a video that was going around, which was Bong Joon-ho's acceptance speech for Best Director when he won for Parasite. And he specifically thanked, guess who? Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. If that man, who doesn't, I think he speaks a little English, but if that man can see the importance of those guys and sees that they're not the problem, why can't you? Why can't you see that? One other thing that I want to point out when it comes to Simu Liu's comments about Quentin Tarantino and Scorsese being gatekeepers is the fact that Tarantino wasn't insulting him at all. Tarantino was essentially saying, which I looked at when I saw the quote, was like a pro-actor thing. It was like, yeah, they're taking away the power of the actors to make more money and to get more power in the negotiation process. That's how I looked at it. I didn't see it as like, oh man, all these actors are losers. No, that's not what Tarantino was saying at all throughout with that quote. That's my interpretation, at least. I didn't see any like ill will in Tarantino's thought at all on this. Yeah, and yeah, Scorsese has said a bunch of times that he does not care for the MCU and DCEU movies, which fine, you know, we're all fans of something, we all don't like something. That's fine, but Tarantino's quote wasn't a dig at all. It was more or less, to me at least, it was like all these people just care about the characters. It's like the actors are interchangeable. Like if Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore, get somebody else, you know? Or Chris Hemsworth doesn't want to be Thor, get somebody else. Is Liam available? Like, that's how I looked at it. I didn't see it as him like pretty much saying, yeah, these fucking losers, they're not real stars. No, it was more a lament that essentially these actors, when they get out of being in the MCU, pretty much don't have any other recourse to get more money and to get more fame, unless they really do something drastically different or they do it in another movie, because they just don't get the chance to do that in the MCU. That's how I took it as. Shang-Chi pretty much wanted to shit on Quentin Tarantino. Kind of blew up in his face, but hey, yeah, he'll still be Shang-Chi, I guess, for a few years. Not that Tarantino wants to do any Disney movies anyway, but I thought that was interesting.